Hi, everyone. Welcome to Bill Doobie Cook. And today we're talking coffee. Uh, it was, it's been an interesting day. Just a little PSA before we get started. Your community wall, if you're like me and you don't read well or you read fast, uh, your community wall might be replaced by by a word called posts, and that is posts. I guess YouTube's making more space on their thing when you go into YouTube Studio, but anyways, don't be all dumbfounded like I was. I had to call my coach right before this broadcast so that I'd be all nice and calm because on one of my 7 channels didn't have a community wall, or I didn't think it had one, but it had the word post, which I totally missed. So, anyways, that's my PSA for today. And my coach, Miss Virginia, who is the amazing best coach you can have on YouTube. Check her out, talk with her, see what you can arrange. And that is my PSA for and Miss Cooking on a Budget, thank you for being the first person in, other than my moderator, and love you. Let's get into talking about coffee. There's all sorts of ways you can grind coffee. This is one of the worst. Uh, and the reason why I say it's one of the worst is because you're grinding. I use this actually for a pepper grinder. And Matt Holbrook, before we even get started, I was thinking about coffee and coffee extraction. And one of the things that got me into thinking about coffee, I go all over the place, is my new silicone dripper. We'll talk about this later. But back onto grinding coffee, these make great pepper mills also. As a matter of fact, I think even though they're marketed as coffee grinders, I think they first came on the scene as pepper mills, but they're great. Slow things down a little bit. Let's talk about coffee extraction. If you listen to AeroPress, the originator of the originator of AeroPress says that the proper temperature for extraction is 185 degrees Fahrenheit. And I got thinking about it because I like mine at 192, and I've been trying all sorts of different temperatures for coffee extraction. And I was told that below 185, you don't get proper extraction, which had me scratching my head because I've had cold brew coffee. Now, cold brewed coffee is made exactly like you think. It is coffee beans that are cold brewed. Well, how does the caffeine and the coffee flavor come out of these beans if it's been cold brewed? Now, my friend Matt Holbrook, I want to acknowledge him for giving me the recipe for cold brewed coffee. And the reason why I'm giving this to you is because if you go to the store and you buy cold brewed coffee, a mug about this big of cold brewed coffee costs a small fortune in a glass bottle, whereas you can make your own. I think it's a quart at a time. And I'll read exactly what Matt put on one of my videos about coffee. It says an oldie but goodie. I've got an espresso maker. Don't use it much anymore, but it's there if I want. Hey, Bill, the rage nowadays is cold brew coffee. I love the stuff. For the week, I fill 5 large mouth quart jars into the shoulder with spring brew. Okay, so 5 mouth quart with spring water. Gently pour 3/4 cup of fresh coarse ground on top. I prefer Guatemalan. Put lids on each one of them, set in refrigerator without shaking. Leave 12 plus hours up to 24 hours. Pull the lid off, filter out, and I add enough Fairlife, and I add enough Fairlife chocolate milk. Oh yeah, Fairlife chocolate milk. I've been like trying to figure out how fair, but that's a brand. To color change to a light brown. Add ice. Hit the road with a quart. The rest will keep all week long. Quart every morning. Serving methods, but this works good for me. A little pricey, but cheaper than buying it. And it is cheaper than buying it. Much cheaper than buying it. A quart of cold brew would be like $10, whereas 3/4 cup of ground coffee is more like about like 50 cents. And depending if you're getting really good coffee, maybe even as high as $1. But you know, it's a great idea. Grounds versus seeing as we are talking grounds, why don't we talk about some grounds? When I go camping, I found, because where did I put the grinder? Somewhere. But anyways, because it takes forever to grind coffee, I always bring ground coffee when I go camping. Now at home, I like having beans and I like doing grounds, but a problem that I ran into not too long ago. Oh yeah, here's the grinder. I had it all the way over here. I have things all over the place here. Now, a long time ago, because we were all talking about being preppers and being ready for the fact that there was going to be no more food on Earth, I bought a big 5-pound thing of ground roast. This Reveille is not too bad. I put that aside, and let's see. I think the freshness date best if used by April 14th, 2022. So I've had this a couple of years and just recently opened it. It brews not too bad of a cup of coffee. Now, my preferred way to brew coffee is with a coffee dripper. But getting back in, oh yeah, we did talk about that. So all sorts of fun. His grace and mercy. How big is it? All right. How big was the jar? 1 quart. I'll read it again. 5 1-quart jars, and he leaves enough room at the top, obviously, for adding in the grounds. And 3/4 cup of fresh ground, coarse ground coffee. And he prefers Guatemalan. Now, that said, I've actually done it with fine ground, and it came out great too. So, and 12 to 24 hours. Now, that said, I don't think Matt is actually like that last one. I think that's sitting in the refrigerator, and Matt, if he's here, he can answer if I'm totally wrong or not. But the coffee is left in the water, so obviously he's not filtering it out until the last one's done. So that's my interpretation of it. And did I miss anything else? No, thanks, Virginia. So anyways, 1 quart jar, 3/4 cup of ground coffee to each jar. and it does taste very good. You can adjust that any way you want. And because I have so much of this, I changed my coffee drinking routine. Now, when I make coffee, I usually do ground coffee every day. Now it's just a special treat on weekends until I'm done finishing all my dark roast reveille. You don't want coffee that's been ground sitting around forever, so make sure you drink it up. My preferred coffee method of drinking coffee is with a dripper. Now, this dripper was dropped. Dripper dropped. And because of that, this is my Hario dripper. And that is a fun dripper to have. And I need to share my screen because I was going to share something with you. Just a second. We were preparing right before going on broadcast, and I was having a little bit of troubles here. All right. Share that screen. Did I say share? Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen. That's not the screen I want to share. Screen 2 is the one to share. Otherwise, you'll get if you're ever doing live, don't ever share the same screen that your camera's on, because you'll get a, it's like two mirrors. If you get two mirrors wrapped up with each other. Now, here we are. We're going to show that and bring this guy over and show this. This is my Hario replacement. And the reason why I have switched to this is for a couple of reasons. All right, let's make this one. It's only $19. Only $19. And the other thing is right now, I don't know if you're going to get this coupon or not, because I purchased this twice. You might not get this coupon, but maybe you'll get the coupon. And now, if we look for the Hario, that's $25. So you're already having a cost savings. And in addition to that, this will fold down for camping easily. And the reason why I switched to using this at home is so that I don't break another Hario. It's a little bit different on the inside, but it gives a pretty good brew. And this is for dripping. And I use these filters instead of the prescribed filters that you're supposed to use for a Hario, because there's a video that shows how to do this, but I've modified it a little bit. What you do is you take this and you fold it over at the bottom. Then you fold it in half. Just like that. I call this an airplane fold. Okay. Now, the difference between the video that is online, on YouTube right now, is they fold both sides into the same way. But I found that because I stir this way, if you fold up the left side first in like that, and then fold the right side back like that. When you stir, you're not going to catch the lip of the coffee filter. Also, when you're stirring in a drip coffee maker that is a Hario, be very careful of the bottom right here, because if you tap that, you're going to go right through the filter. And I love drip coffee. Now, there's all sorts of ways to heat up your water for coffee. I've tried just about all of them, and I've also tried different ways to make coffee. You notice I said espresso because I have a Il Primo espresso maker video too that is on my main channel. Now, a couple of things for making coffee. And just a quick guess. When I'm at home, I use this. This is a 2-quart saucier pan that I like because I can pour out of it easy. This is by Heritage Steel. You don't have to use one that's Heritage Steel. That's a little pricey, this one. Now, the other one that I was using for a while was my Camp percolator. Now, I've used this before. And if you ever get one of these, replace the top with the glass one top instead of the plastic, because the plastic does come off. And yeah, I boil my water for coffee too. And what I did for a while there was I would perk this up, and as soon as it started perking, I know I have the right temperature, and then I would pour it, and this gives a more consistent pour. But the thing I didn't like about it is I'm wasting a lot of energy waiting for it to get up to perk, and it didn't quite heat as fast as my other pot. Now, a pot that I could use, which heats very fast also, this is my Camp pot that I use for cooking and making my coffee, and it's just a 2-quart pot, and it does a great job. And that's what I use for coffee water when I'm out camping. Bottom line is you use whatever works for you. Now, I'm not going to claim that I'm a coffee aficionado and that I know everything there is to know about coffee, because it just kind of came to me today, and I'm happy that. Also, right over here, you'll notice that there's a little flashing thing. I'm using Talk Studio by Streamlabs, and I think it's a great platform. If you're looking for something that's easy to use, you might check it out. We've talked about coffee, we talked about mugs, we haven't talked about. Now, this is a 16 ounce real steel. It's a great coffee mug. You can also get the Ozark Trail knockoff of this exact mug, except for it won't have this little dimple here. But the one that I bring camping is an Ozark Trails mug. This one I use all the time at home. But when you use this coffee drip filter, I just told you this is the greatest thing known to man. Here is the Achilles heel to it, is when you set it on top, it'll set fine, but you want to make sure to hold it on there. And the reason being is this is a very light filter, and also the silicone will flex a little bit sometimes. So if your filter is not perfectly on top of a 16 ounce steel mug, if you're using 10 ounce, you don't have anything to worry about. Or if you're using, as I do, Coffee Therapy, because Coffee Therapy is good for you and me, it's a shade bigger and it'll grip better. But Pour with your right or left hand, but hold the filter with your other hand. Easy, easy peasy. And that'll keep it from falling inside your cup, because that you don't want. I've had this tip over once on me, and I kind of, it was like, whoa, what are you gonna do? But at the same time, it was a laugh, because I had read about other people having trouble and saying that this isn't a stable filter. Now, compared to other silicone filters, one, this is bigger. And the other thing is, it is, well, it's bigger. It's just as sturdy as other silicone filters. Some of them have actually a solid base of plastic, but the nice thing is about this is you don't have anything you could throw this against something like that, and it's going to be good for making coffee again. You don't want to do that with this one. This one, I just missed it. It tipped off the top when I was moving the top. I carelessly grabbed it like this, and then I went whoosh with my coffee cup and with this on top, and it fell off. And it dropped all of a foot and a half, hit the sink, and chipped. And it was a little chip, and little chip became a big crack. That's drippers, coffee, places to get coffee. I prefer the least expensive one they have. Almost. Kirkland whole bean French roast. You can get that inexpensively over at Costco. Almost any bean cooked properly will yield a fair cup of coffee. Now, that's not to say that the frou-frou ones aren't going to taste really good too. I prefer to have my coffee black. There's all sorts of things you can do to froth milk to put it in the coffee. And I'm going to go grab the other dripper that I forgot to bring. Just a second. Be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. This one is another coffee dripper. It's not as big as, it won't take the full size. It's not as big, and it's a little temperamental because it has the solid base. But when you take them up, it takes the number one size. But the difference in this one is that, and you can't really see it, or maybe you can. Can I get the light in there enough? Let's see, just a second here. There's a little bit. You see the little ring there? Well, you can have that little ring up, and then you can put a small basket filter, like a traditional basket filter. Or for camping, you can have the ring down, and now it takes a full-size filter. Doesn't look, well, number one still, but it'll take a cone or a basket, which I liked. And that was kind of cool. I wanted to see what this thing looked like. I was curious if this was plastic or metal. It's plastic. And just another type. There's all sorts of coffee drippers. And now with this, you can hand wash it and not worry about dish soap. However, with the other one, which is right over here, have to prove to you that it did not break. See, still looking great. I would recommend, and I know others are going to, somebody's going to say, no, don't do this. But first off, do they say it's dishwasher safe? Let's see if that dishwasher. Because I don't have a dishwasher, I don't worry about that. I hand wash everything. Yep, dishwasher safe. If you're ever looking for finding something quickly on a computer, Control F, that brings up your search, and then you can find what your dishwasher safe. Now, this premium material here, yeah, it is premium material, Java Flex, BPA free, and all that. However, I would recommend wash it well. If you do have a dishwasher, it's not a bad idea to send it through the dishwasher before using it. Now, if you hand wash it though, I'd recommend not even using dish soap because you're never going to get all of it out. At least not on the first one. And that's pretty much it. Anybody got any questions that I missed? I don't think so. Well, this was my quick little thing about coffee, just things that I've learned about coffee. I also have on my main channel a whole series about coffee. Or did I do it on this channel? I can't even remember, but I'm pretty sure it was on the main channel. I love coffee. And, you can ask anybody. That's the first thing I start the morning with is a nice big 16-ounce cup of coffee. And coffee is have a cup of pure delight. Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, Virginia, did you drop your links in? If you haven't dropped your link in, drop your link in once and drop in everybody's link. Feel free to drop anybody's link at this point. And how do you drink your coffee there, Virginia? Is it black or is it with cream? Yeah, there we go. Oh, would have been nice if I turned this off. French vanilla, yum. Cream and sugar. Those are such yummy ways. Oh, speaking of cream and sugar, if you ever have, I have that dripper here too, but better to just go to the restaurant and get one. If you're in a Vietnamese restaurant and they have Vietnamese drip coffee, and make sure that it's traditional drip coffee, not pseudo drip. What I call pseudo drip is where they have it pre-made and they're just pour it in a glass and give it to you, because half of the fun of Vietnamese drip coffee is watching it made at your table. They bring a big glass, clear glass with crushed ice in it and yummy sweetened condensed milk in the bottom of it. I don't know how much they put in of the sweetened condensed milk, but they put 20 grams, I think it is, of coffee into the Vietnamese dripper, which is just how it gets it so strong. I don't know, but it's just that and like very little water. And they put that in and it drips down over your ice and is just Vietnamese drip coffee. Give it a try. I try just about any kind of coffee that comes on the pipe. There was one that I also had heard about, and I actually have tried several variations where you actually put hot pepper in your coffee. Now, serranos and habaneros, they work pretty well. The one that did not work well was putting cayenne pepper in there. I did not, it had an off flavor to the coffee. You can either put it in with the drip, which is the way I usually do it, or you can, if you want a stronger flavor, you could actually put the pepper in your cup. Now with a habanero, a very thin slice of habanero, depending on your heat tolerance. And with a Serrano, you could put about 4 small slices into your dripper. And that's pretty much it for today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to the replay crew. Love you all. And check out here, Talk Studio. It's a great platform. Love you all. Bye-bye.